Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Madison and I'm going to be a first-time mom. As of tomorrow, I will be 16 weeks pregnant, and so I just want to share with you guys some of the things that I went through in my first trimester and give you some tips on how you can get through your first trimester as well if you experience the same symptoms I did. I had quite the normal experiences, but I also had a few that were a little strange to me. I watch a ton of videos about pregnancy and symptoms that people have, and I haven't heard one single person mention one of the symptoms I went through, so maybe it's just me. But anyway, these are the symptoms that I had in my first trimester. It was honestly a little bit rough, not as hard as it could have been, but I definitely struggled and my morning sickness was crazy. And so just here are some tips. Hopefully it'll help you. All of us are different. All of us experience different symptoms and different solutions. There are different solutions to those symptoms for each individual. So try these. I hope they work for you like they worked for me. I'm honestly a little out of breath right now, and also pregnancy exhaustion is so real, guys. I just want to nap all the time, and so I'm kind of probably going to be a little bit more relaxed in this video because I'm exhausted. Alright, so I mentioned that I had pretty bad morning sickness, and so the first symptom on this list is nausea or morning sickness. Now, comparatively, my morning sickness wasn't as bad as some people experience, but I was vomiting usually at least once a day and experienced nausea throughout the entire day. And I will tell you that my morning sickness did not go away until like week 14. And I'm actually still experiencing a little bit of it, but at least I'm not vomiting, so I consider that a success. So now I'm going to get into some tips to help ease your morning sickness. The first is snack. Carry around snacks with you wherever you go. Please do not leave the house if you do not have a snack on hand, because actually pregnancy nausea is different than regular nausea. Usually when you get sick to your stomach, you're throwing up, you don't really want food because it just makes you vomit. But actually with morning sickness, eating can ease your nausea. In fact, most of the time it does. So you want to be snacking, you want to be eating small frequent meals. Everybody says that, but it's true. And honestly, it's so hard to do that. I tried, and it's so hard because sometimes you're not hungry, you just don't feel good, you don't want to eat, and then also other times you may be craving food and just want to eat everything all at once, which is not good either, which we will get into. One snack that helped me a lot, it's not the greatest tasting, but saltine crackers, or some people call them soda crackers, they really do help ease my stomach and always have whenever I'm sick. And so I really relied on those a lot during my first trimester because sometimes that was the only thing that I could eat and keep down. My second tip is to eat breakfast as soon as you wake up. As soon as you get up out of bed, go immediately and get some breakfast, because for most people, and I know for myself personally, speaking from experience, if I did not eat within the first 20 minutes of waking up, I was going to throw up. And there were even days where my husband had to wake up before me and graciously cooked me breakfast so that as soon as I got up out of bed, there was already food waiting at the table for me to eat, and I didn't have to worry about standing there fixing something, cooking something while I was sick. And it helped me out so much, so thank you, Alex. So maybe that is something that your partner could do for you as well. It really does help when you eat as soon as you can. Or even if you had some of those crackers sitting at your bedside table to snack on as soon as you woke up, just to give you more time to get up, get ready, get dressed and all that before you eat breakfast. Tip number 3 has already kind of been mentioned, and that is do not skip meals. If you skip a meal, you're actually going to be more nauseated, you're going to be more sick, and so just do yourself a favor and don't skip a meal. I know you won't feel like eating, and I know it's hard to shove food in your mouth when you literally feel like you're about to throw up. But you just got to do it, and I promise you, most of the time, it actually makes you feel better. And tip number 4 is to stay hydrated. You do not want to be pregnant and dehydrated, because I was, and it was miserable. And you want to be taking care of yourself and your baby, so it's best to stay hydrated, especially if you're vomiting. You need to make it a priority to stay hydrated. I feel like your mom right now telling you to drink more water, but it's true. And this leads me directly into my second symptom, which was dehydration. My goodness, my morning sickness was kind of strange in the fact that towards, I would say like week 10 to 14, I could not drink water. If I drank water, it instantly came back up within the next 5 minutes. and it would just be, this is TMI, but it would just be straight water. Like literally it would go down and come right back up. I don't know what it was about water, but my body did not like it at that point in my pregnancy. And I stupidly made the mistake of not trying to drink anything else, because I pretty much only drink water. I occasionally drink like Body Armor or something like that, which I also threw up, but I typically only reach for water though. So when I discovered that the water was actually causing a lot of my morning sickness, I basically just stopped drinking altogether because I didn't want that experience. I didn't want to be throwing up all the time, and so I just didn't drink water, and I didn't really try to drink anything else because I was so scared of throwing up. If you've been there, you know the feeling. And so I got super dehydrated. My heart rate was going all over the place, and I talked with my doctor, and they told me to go to the ER and get an IV, which I did not want to do. And I went against my doctor's advice and didn't go. I probably should have, but I really just didn't feel like going to the emergency room. And I felt like I was an idiot for not trying to drink anything else besides water at that point. So I looked up some tips online, and I saw where people recommended to drink lemonade, because there's something about like the lemon and the acidity in the lemon that makes you feel better, or at least some pregnant women feel better drinking lemonade instead of water. And so I tried it and it worked. I also tried drinking different like knockoff Kool-Aids, like Mio and things like that, and those worked for me. They still made me feel a little bit sick, but I wasn't throwing them up. I was able to keep them down and get rehydrated, which was a complete blessing because I did not want to go to the ER. And so my 2 tips for staying hydrated is try lemonade, but then also make sure you're drinking some kind of electrolyte drink. If you're not able to drink the appropriate amount of water, I think it's like 64 ounces minimum that you're supposed to be drinking. And so if you're not able to do that, you really should be drinking some kind of electrolyte drink. But one thing that my sister-in-law, who's also pregnant, recommended was liquid IV. And I've ordered some. It's on its way. I haven't tried it yet, so I can't really speak on how it works and how it tastes and all that. But that is something that I'm going to be trying because I'm still struggling. It's really hard for me to drink that much during the day, and so I want to keep baby safe. And so that is something that I'm going to be trying, and maybe that would be good for you as well. The 3rd symptom is fatigue. Oh my goodness, I've always been a tired and sleepy person, but this pregnancy has like ran me over like a truck. The fatigue is so bad. I feel like a zombie most of the time. Like I get spurts of energy, but wow, if you know, you know. And like for example, I've been trying to film this video for 2 days now, and I just was so tired I didn't feel like it. And now I've basically waited till the sun is going down to film it because I was taking a nap. But my first tip is just take the nap. Don't feel guilty, just take the nap, because you are growing a human being, and it is exhausting, and it's okay to admit that it's exhausting, and it's okay to take care of yourself and just take a nap when you need it. So don't feel guilty. Don't let people make you feel guilty. Don't like shun off your responsibilities either, but it's okay to take a nap. One thing I also did more so in the beginning of my pregnancy was to walk. Try walking for exercise, because exercise, as most of you know, gives you endorphins and honestly gives you more energy, and so that can help as well. And then a big tip that I had to learn was sit down if you're feeling weak. Sometimes when I'm standing, just weakness comes over my body, and it's just like, oh my goodness, I've got to sit down. So just sit down. There were moments where I like tried to press through and just refused to sit down and take a moment to rest. And then I got super lightheaded, super dizzy, was like vision going black a little bit, and was like falling, bumping into things. Don't tell my husband because he doesn't know. And so if your body is feeling weak and you're just so fatigued, again, take a moment to rest. That is more important than getting the task done. Which leads me right on into the next symptom, which is lightheadedness or dizziness. Now, I'm someone who has kind of always experienced this throughout my life. Like if I stood up too fast or got up out of bed too fast, my vision would go black, and the kind of things that I just described. I don't know what it is. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong, because I've been to the doctor several times and had blood work and all that kind of stuff done, and I'm perfectly healthy. I don't know if it's my blood sugar or what, but I'm kind of known for passing out every now and then anyway, and this pregnancy made it so much worse, and I just kind of tried to press through it and pretend like it wasn't happening, because I had experienced so many other symptoms that were getting a lot of attention, and people like doting over me and stuff and concern for me, which is great. And you know, there's nothing wrong with that, of people trying to take care of me. But I didn't want to add one more thing to that list, and I really would just try to keep walking, keep going, keep doing whatever task I was trying to accomplish, instead of sitting down and taking a moment to rest. Like, common sense, just sit down. And I refused to do that at times, and I was bumping into furniture. There were a couple scary moments where like I almost hit the floor or like ran into walls and stuff and thought I was gonna fall down and hurt myself. And so thank God that didn't happen. But looking back now, I realized that I probably should have taken it more seriously and just sat down. But if you do have common sense, like apparently I don't, a practical tip for you to help with your lightheadedness is to not stand up too quickly, and like not get out of bed too quickly, not sit up too quickly. Just try to move slowly. The next symptom that I had, which is so common, was bloating. And I found out that I was pregnant at week 3, which is like 2 to 3 weeks earlier than most people find out. And I mean, from week 3 onward, I was so bloated. I looked like I was 5 months pregnant at 3-4 weeks. And it was honestly so painful. Like, there were a couple of nights that I woke up in the middle of the night just in excruciating pain, and I don't wish that on anybody, because bloating can be rough. Bloating can make you feel like you're like super far along in your pregnancy and having to waddle, because it's just your stomach's full of air, and sometimes you can't bend over. I've had to get my husband to put my shoes on and stuff like that, and I'm not even far along into my pregnancy. Like, I barely have a bump right now, and so I just felt so ridiculous in my first trimester, not being able to bend down or move certain ways because I was just so bloated and full of air. And my tip for this is to try walking. Moving around, moving that air around can ease your stomach pain a lot if you do have pain with your bloating. Exercise can really do wonders, and I've found that walking is something simple and easy, doesn't require a lot of strength when I'm weak and tired, fatigued from pregnancy, and it was also the least painful of the different exercises that you could be doing. My other tip on this one is don't overeat. I made the mistake. I mean, you know, sometimes you're just craving stuff, or you're super hungry and you just want all the foods, and you eat all the foods, and then you instantly regret it because your stomach is so bloated. 1, from air, and 2, from all the overeating, all the food that you just put into your body when your intestines are already scrunched up and moving different places and stuff. It's just not a good idea to overeat. That's why people recommend small, frequent meals. It keeps you from getting overly hungry and keeps you from eating too much at once, because it's just painful. It's painful. But sometimes you just have to give in to those cravings and just eat the food. Now, this next symptom that I experienced is the one that I have not heard anybody talk about, and that is I could not brush my teeth. Obviously, I brush my teeth anyway, but brushing my teeth made me vomit. I don't know what it is about brushing my teeth. I mean, again, TMI, but I still gag and retch when I have to brush my teeth. And so it just wasn't fun. And especially for me, because brushing, I know this is weird, but brushing my teeth is one of my favorite things to do. It has been one of my favorite things to do since I was like 12. I love to brush my teeth. I brush them after every single meal. If I eat something or drink something, I can't stand to have that feeling in my mouth and like still be tasting whatever I just ate or drank. And I hate feeling like my breath smells like that. And so I'm usually someone who brushes my teeth all the time. Since I've been pregnant, I can no longer do that. It's quite sad, honestly. I don't know if it's the smell, I don't know if it's the taste, I don't know what it is, but I just can't brush my teeth. Thankfully now, I'm not throwing up after I brush my teeth or during the time I'm brushing my teeth, which is nice, but I would still love to brush my teeth in peace. And my tip for this one, if you for some reason also experience this weird pregnancy symptom, my tip is to brush your teeth before meals. I found that if I ate and then tried to brush my teeth right afterwards, it wasn't going to turn out pretty. Or I can wait like an hour after I've eaten and then brush my teeth, because then my food is settled. No matter when I brush my teeth, I still retch even now. But again, at least I'm not vomiting everywhere, which is a positive. And I've only got 2 more symptoms to go over with. The next one is kind of quite comical. Uncontrollable crying. There were times and still times, where I just broke down and cried over the most stupidest things, or for no reason at all, and would just be bawling my eyes out uncontrollably. And like, I would know, like I was aware that it was stupid and ridiculous that I was crying for no reason or over something super simple that usually wouldn't have bothered me. And so I would try to stop crying, and I physically could not stop. You just gotta ride with the emotions, and that is my tip. Just ride it out and then laugh about it later, because I can't tell you how many times I just bawled my eyes out, and then as soon as I stopped, I died out laughing at myself because of how ridiculous it was. But then also, on a more serious note, my other tip for this one is to communicate, especially with your partner, and you know, like what your needs are in that moment. Maybe they can help you, maybe they can console you a little bit, maybe they can help you out with avoiding some of those triggers and just provide you with some support when you need it. But other than that, you just have to ride it out. There are no tips for this one. Your hormones are all over the place. They're changing so much constantly, and there's nothing you can do about it, really. And then finally, my last major symptom that I experienced in my first trimester was night sweats. It wasn't all the time, it wasn't every night, but when it was bad. And part of this could be attributed to our like heating and cooling system in our house, because for some reason it'll be freezing when we go to bed, and then we'll wake up in the middle of the night and our room will be sweltering hot. So I don't know if it's just our house and the way our air conditioning system works, but I got so hot. And for this one, I have 3 different tips to share with you guys. The first one being, don't wear warm pajamas to bed, even if it's freezing cold when you go to bed. Because when you wake up with night sweats, you will wish you had not worn those flannel pajamas or whatever it was that you wore to bed because you were cold. So just go ahead and wear some lightweight summer pajamas to bed. Even if you're cold, you may be freezing, but just stick it out, because odds are you're gonna wake up super hot and sweaty, and you'll be glad that you didn't wear those warm pajamas. My next tip is to keep water beside your bed. Most people have some kind of nightstand or bedside table that you can put a glass of water or a bottle of water on, so that when you wake up in the middle of the night super hot, you don't have to get up and go to the kitchen to get some water. You just have it readily available right there. Drink you some water and go back to sleep. And my last tip is that if the water doesn't work, doesn't help calm your night sweats and cool you down, get up out of bed. I have found that getting up and walking around or just standing there for a few minutes cools me down enough so that when I go back to bed, I'm not quite as hot and I'm able to fall asleep faster. And if you're pregnant, honestly, if we wake up in the middle of the night, we probably have to pee anyway, so sometimes that can just be a trip to the bathroom. I feel weird ending this video on the word bathroom, but that's the last thing I have for you guys. Those are all the symptoms that I experienced in my first trimester, and some things that I did or should have done to help ease those symptoms. I am by no means a professional. All the tips I gave you were just from personal experience and advice. Since this is my first pregnancy, I have relied a lot on other people sharing tips like this as well, and so these kind of things really have helped me, and I hope that it helps you as well in your pregnancy. If you found it helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Now that the secret is out, I will be taking you guys along my pregnancy journey on this channel, and so I'm very excited for all the videos that I have planned in the future, and for Baby Fortune to grow and just share with you all the things that are happening. If you are pregnant as well, please leave a comment down below and let's chat about your pregnancy as well. How far along are you? Do you know the gender? I would love to share in the excitement with you guys. And then if you also have some tips for some of these symptoms as well, leave them in the comments down below, because maybe there was something that worked for you that I didn't mention that could help somebody else. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.
You're all I need, you're all I need.